Imagine a young woman in the 1700s, so desperate for freedom that she cut her hair, bound her chest, and disguised herself as a man, just to fight in a war where women were forbidden. This is not a movie. This is real history. This is the untold story of Deborah Sampson. On the battlefield, a musket ball ripped into her body. As blood poured from her wound, the army surgeon leaned closer, about to uncover a secret that could destroy her life. What happened next will leave you stunned. This is the shocking conclusion of Deborah Sampson's story. In the late 1700s, when America was still under British control, the land was burning with the fire of revolution. Freedom was no longer just a dream. It was a call, echoing in every corner. Men were leaving their homes, their wives, and their children to join the fight. But women, society told them their duty was only to stay behind, to cook, to clean, and to pray for the men who fought. But in this world of rules and limits, one woman decided to break the chains. Her name was Deborah Sampson. She was not born into wealth. She did not grow up with privilege. She was born in 1760 in Massachusetts, into poverty and struggle. Her father abandoned the family. Her mother could not take care of the children. And little Deborah was sent away as a servant at a very young age. Imagine a young girl working in strangers' homes, wearing old clothes, eating leftovers, dreaming only of survival. But inside her heart, a fire was growing. She watched men train with muskets. She listened to whispers of freedom. And she thought, why not me? Why should I, just because I am a woman, be left out of this fight? Dear viewers, before we go deeper into this unbelievable story, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and write your thoughts in the comments. Your support gives us the strength to bring you more hidden stories of courage. As Deborah grew older, she refused to accept the silent life that society had planned for her. She dressed in men's clothing just to experience the freedom men had. She worked jobs meant only for men. And when the Revolutionary War broke out, she made the most daring decision of her life. She would disguise herself as a man, and she would join the army. Think about the danger. If caught, she could be thrown in prison, publicly shamed, or worse. But courage does not ask for safety. Courage asks only for sacrifice. Deborah cut her hair short. She bound her chest tightly so no one could see the truth. She chose a new name, Robert Shirtliff, and with this identity, she walked into the military camp. The army was filled with rough men, farmers, blacksmiths, boys barely grown into men. None of them suspected that the tall, strong Robert beside them was actually a woman. Deborah trained, marched, and fought just like them. She carried a heavy musket, marched through storms, and stood guard through freezing nights. Her first test came when she was ordered into battle. The sound of cannon fire roared, muskets cracked in the air, and men screamed in pain. Deborah did not run. She aimed, she fired, and she charged forward. She was not only proving herself to the world, she was proving to herself that courage knows no gender. But the battlefield is merciless. During one bloody fight, a musket ball tore into her leg. The pain was unbearable, but Deborah faced a greater fear. If she went to the army doctor, her secret would be revealed. She had no choice. Trembling, bleeding, she took a knife, sat in silence, and cut the bullet out of her own flesh. Alone. No cries, no witnesses, just raw willpower. This was not just bravery. This was madness mixed with sacrifice. Her fellow soldiers admired Robert for his toughness. No one suspected the truth. Deborah marched in battles across New York and beyond. She dug trenches, carried weapons, and fought shoulder to shoulder with men. She lived in constant fear. One mistake, one moment of weakness, and her entire disguise would fall apart. Yet every time she looked around, saw men laughing, fighting, dying, she felt stronger, She told herself, "I am one of them. I belong here." But destiny is always waiting to test the brave. One night, while marching with her regiment, an ambush struck. Bullets rained down, men fell, and Deborah charged forward. A musket ball struck her shoulder, knocking her to the ground. This time, the wound was deep. Her vision blurred, and before she could stop it, the army surgeon rushed to her side. Would her secret finally be discovered? The surgeon leaned in, trying to save Robert Shirtliff. But Deborah gritted her teeth, hiding her pain, praying that her secret would not slip. She knew that the moment her identity was revealed, everything would end. And there, lying on the battlefield, Deborah Sampson showed the world that true courage is not about being a man or a woman. It is about being human and daring to fight for freedom. The musket ball in her shoulder burned like fire. Deborah tried to stay strong, but the surgeon's eyes were sharp. As he worked to remove the bullet, he noticed things that did not add up. The truth she had hidden for so long was now in danger. But fate gave her one more chance. The surgeon did not expose her immediately. Instead, he quietly kept her secret, perhaps out of respect for her bravery, perhaps out of disbelief that a woman could have fought so fiercely. Deborah was moved to a hospital where she remained under his careful watch. Every day she feared the truth would spill out. Finally, the day came. Her identity could no longer remain hidden. The army officers were informed that Robert Shirtliff was not a man, but a woman who had fought with honor, side by side with soldiers. In that moment, silence fell. Some men were shocked, others were amazed. Deborah waited for punishment, for shame, for the rejection she had always feared. But instead, she received something unexpected. The officers did not scold her. They respected her courage. She was given an honorable discharge from the army in 1783. She left the camp not as a criminal, not as a fraud, but as a hero who had risked everything for freedom. Life after war was not easy. Deborah returned to Massachusetts and faced poverty again. Yet, her spirit remained unbroken. She married a farmer named Benjamin Gannett, and together they raised 3 children. But the memories of war never left her. The freezing nights, the burning wounds, the faces of soldiers she had fought beside. Years later, she decided to tell her story. She began giving public lectures about her life, standing on stage in her old soldier's uniform. She spoke about the nights she had hidden her identity, the pain of her wounds, the fear of discovery. People listened in awe. Many could hardly believe that a woman had done what she did. But her bravery was real, carved into history. Deborah became the first known American woman to fight as a soldier. And though her country did not shower her with wealth, it did grant her recognition. She even received a pension for her service, something very rare for women of that time. Deborah Sampson lived until the age of 66. When she passed away in 1827, she left behind not just a family, but a legacy. Her life was proof that courage is not bound by gender, that freedom is worth any sacrifice, and that sometimes breaking the rules is the only way to change history. She had entered the war disguised as a man. She left it remembered as a woman who fought for liberty. Deborah Sampson's story is not just about muskets and battles. It is about a spirit that refused to be silent. It is about a woman who dared to step into a world that told her no and proved to everyone that bravery has no limits. And though centuries have passed, her name still whispers across history, reminding us that true courage belongs to those who dare. Thank you for watching.